So recently, Beyonce has released a song called Black Parade, as well as she came out and said that she will be releasing a film called Black is King. And while all of our fans and, most of the people that wouldn't call themselves fans, but we still like Beyonce, um, we're pretty excited to see this film, Black is King. But not everybody is excited about her film. In fact, a lot of people, especially Africans, is saying that Beyonce is cultural appropriating. One in particular is this Nigerian model. So this Nigerian model took to Twitter and said, Beyonce including African culture in her music, but never adding Africa to her tours. Same Beyonce making a whole movie based off Africa and its culture that's not available in Africa. I want to add that I'm not saying she has to come to Nigeria or whatnot. I'm saying she's contributing to the problematic ideologies of how Africa is viewed to line her own pockets. And Africa isn't even a country. She's mostly taken from Yoruba's culture. So, if you're going to speak on something, come correct. Africa is not some prop. You can't come and pull from our culture from when it's convenient. That's appropriation. And not every time we were kings, please. Some of us were palm wine tappers. We don't wake up in the morning and tie our wrapper and put chalk on our face and scream Wakanda, then go and hunt lions. We wake up and open Twitter like the rest of the world. Please stop pushing this old narrative because later it's the same Black Americans in an attempt to insult us that'll be asking if we have Wi-Fi and whether we live in huts and how we can afford iPhones. And that's the representation they see. Anytime someone talks about Africa, it's huts and lions, so I don't even blame them. And one more thing, nobody is disputing that she has done a lot of good, but she's a human being and she's not above mistake, therefore not above critique. I has so tapped into that African queen mother thing that you people think everything she does is right. LMAO, this is not true. Black Americans always talking about if a black person says it's appropriation, then shut up and listen. And now we as African people have come out to say that it's appropriation. So please listen. The way you people are so reverent of this Beyonce that's a human being like everyone else can't even critique her without adding, I love Beyonce, but, or that's the queen, but, like please. Spit it out, nobody will beat you. You're not saying anything wrong. Now, listen. I feel where she is coming from because I know in times Beyonce has, culturally appropriated. I get where she's coming from because I figured that if you live in Africa, you know what I'm saying, and you see Black Americans separate, you see UK Black people as separate, so on and so forth. I get where you coming from. And if Africans can't see Black is King when it comes out, I don't know what's up with that, because African culture is within the movie. But one thing I disagree with is the fact that you are saying Beyonce is culturally appropriating. And I'm not understanding how a black woman is culturally appropriating her culture. Because in the Yoruba religion, right, if you're into orishas and stuff, which half of you may not even know what I'm talking about, some of you might know what I'm talking about, but you will know that when our ancestors left Africa to come over here to the New World, the Orishas followed. They followed. So many black people within America has tapped into their spirituality and know the Orishas that guides their life. So what? Because they're not on African soil, but they just so happen to tap into a religion that is really theirs as well. Was their ancestors. How is that culturally appropriating? I can see if Beyonce, say for instance, she was from Barbados, or she was in Jamaica, or she was, somewhere else, I can kind of understand more. But by Beyonce being a black American, and the black American history of how our people got over here, and you also know about Orishas following their children over here to the Americas, how can you say one is culturally appropriating when Beyonce knows that Oshun is her mother, Orisha? She said in the song Black Parade that Yemiya is Solange's mother, Orisha. I know my mother, Orishas. It's a lot of people that have tapped into spirituality. And if she loves it so much that she feels as though she wants to wake up everyone else, every other black American, she wants to wake them up and show them how their ancestors did things, then what is so wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Because at the end of the day, our ancestors came from Africa. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion. It might very well be, but I mean, this is how I feel. I'm not going to come up here and be like, oh yes, Beyonce is culturally appropriating. She did when she was in that Hindi culture, a Hindu, but to sit here and say an African American is culturally appropriating her own culture, I don't really understand that. I don't get that at all. And then on top of that, to know that your ancestors, that's what a lot of Africans don't like to talk about, is the fact that your ancestors very well could have been the ancestors that sold our ancestors over here to the New World in general. But because our people want to get in touch with ourselves, with our ancestors, and they want to tap into their birthright culture, their ancestors' beliefs and stuff, then all of a sudden it's culture appropriating. No, it's not. It's really not. I get what she's saying about Black is King not being available in Africa. That needs to be available in Africa. I don't understand that. That part makes me think it's about money, but that doesn't even have anything to do with Beyonce. That could be about somebody that's over Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully they do make it so it can be played in Africa, because it does have African culture within it. But to sit here and say that an African American is culturally appropriating her own culture that her ancestors were in, come on now, that doesn't even make sense. So anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about this topic about Beyonce so-called culturally appropriating her own culture. Let me know what you think down below. Peace.